So good afternoon, students. How are you? Today we are going to study writing lesson that is tell a story. تقول واحد القصة. Okay. Look at this example. Last week, I visited Chicago to attend business conference. While I was there, I decided to visit the Art Institute of Chicago. To start off, my flight was delayed. Next, the airline lost my luggage, so I had to wait for 2 hours at the airport while they tracked it down. Unexpectedly, the luggage had been set aside and forgotten. As soon as they found my luggage, I found a taxi and rode into town. During the ride into town, the driver told me about his last visit to the Art Institute. After I had arrived safely, everything began to go smoothly. The business conference was very interesting, and I thoroughly enjoyed my visit to the institute. Finally, I caught my flight back to Seoul. Luckily, everything went smoothly. I arrived home just in the time to kiss my daughter good night. So here, in this paragraph, as you like, you must observe two things. We have expressions like last week, while I was, to start off, next, unexpectedly, as soon as, during, after, finally, and the verb which is conjugated into the simple past, I arrived. If I want to tell a story, I must show the beginning, then the middle of the story, then the end. البداية الوسط ديال القصة والنهاية. And time to time, of course, some interrupting, like sadly, like unexpectedly, فجأة, like these expressions, okay? Look at this. If I want to begin my story, begin your story, here you create the beginning of your story with these expressions. البداية ديال القصة, like, if you say, here, if you say, first of all, comma, to start off with, comma, initially, comma, to begin with, comma. So here I start my story with this. Then, to continue the story, right? You can continue the story with the following expressions or use a time clause beginning with as soon as or after. When using a time clause, use the past simple. Please pay attention. Whenever I tell a story, I usually use the past simple or the simple past after the time expression, such as then. This is the middle. نستمر في القصة ديالي. Okay, في الوسط. Then هي après من بعد. Then, after that, and you say then, comma. Okay, here. Whenever you say then, so you have a comma here. After that, next, there is a comma. As soon as, or when past full clause, just you say as soon as, okay? But, then, and of course, immediately. Then, here, when I say the interruptions and adding new elements to the story, بغيت نزيد عناصر جديدة للقصة ولا يعني وقعت شي حاجة, right? So you can use the following expressions to add suspense, تشويق, right? Suspense to your story, like sadly, فجأة, unexpectedly, من غير المنتظر, right? And comma always, right? Then here is ending the story. If you want to end the story, to finish the story, so use these expressions. Mark the end of your story with these introductory phrases like finally, comma, in the end, comma, eventually come out. Right? So this is how to make, and this is how to make, of course, a story, right? So beginning of the story, and then continuing the story, some expressions of interrupting, right, or adding new elements to the story, then ending of the story, right? Of course, now here from this, you have here an example, right? This is an example of the passage, right? An example passage, an example of a story. Then here you have expressions that you use to make a story, right? Here, the beginning of the story, continuing the story, some, if you want to add new elements, then the end of the story. And I told you here that you have to use this tense, simple past. We usually use simple past just to tell a story, right? Here you have to practice this. Look at the pictures and tell a story. Here you have pictures, right? Here you have pictures, right? So from these pictures, من هاد الصور غادي تديروا قصة. Alright. So you have the pictures here, and from those pictures, so you have to make a story. So if we, of course, if we slide quickly, you can remark the story, right? So this is the lesson of writing. Tell a story. I am waiting for your stories. Thank you very much.